Tonight on Toy Town Crime Watch, there's been a rash of boo-boos all over town. Have you seen anyone, possibly wearing striped pyjamas, that might have caused such boo-boos? We talked to Flopsy Rabbit, who received a major boo-boo and had to go to Stuffy Hospital, and now they have a little bandage. Apparently they got a big kissy from Mum when they got their stitches done. Coming up later on the show, Mittens, adorable kitty friend of violent criminal. Mittens was last seen pushing Mr. Stuffy Bear off the side. It was around dinner time, and perhaps we believe that there may have been some hanger involved. We asked Chili Penguin, who recently came back smelling much, much better because, Mr. Woofles had done quite a chewing and Mr. Woofles has the worst breath. And finally, Panda Bear has been arrested for dealing smack. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Eris Magnet. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast. Two queer trans ladies. We talk about the stuff we've done in the week. We talk about things...
Stuffies we've done.
No. The things, the media we have consumed.
Not stuffies that we've done cuddles on.
That's better wording. So don't do the stuffies. Yeah, we've consumed media in the week.
Yes.
Video games, or games of varying natures, that's usually where we start. What have you played this week?
What have we played this week? Well, we played some Otto. Game over.
Otto, the game that is pretentious as fuck.
It's so... it might be from beyond our worlds.
So this was one of the games that came in the Zatu box of board games this month.
Yes.
And you read the back of the box text.
And had no fucking clue what this game was.
And I read a description online and had no fucking clue what the game was.
So we opened it.
Yeah, read the Kickstarter description, had no fucking clue what it was. Lots of talk of sacred geometry, and... I mean, once you play the actual game, it's very, it's fairly easy to explain.
Yes.
It is a game...
It's an abstract tile laying puzzle.
Yeah. You start with a grid that's got one tile already sort of fixed in the centre and some patterns around the outside edges. Any piece can be placed in any orientation. You can only place a tile next to an existing tile, so you have to sort of start from the centre and work out. And you're basically trying to create small circles, large circles, or squares, which are worth increasing amounts of points.
Yep.
It is a game of trying to be very careful about when you put certain things down so you're not giving the other player an opportunity to finish that shape and snipe the points.
Mm-hmm. There's also a chance to make infinity symbols.
Oh, yeah.
And that means you automatically win the round and you get 8 points.
And the other person gets 0 no matter how many points they had earned so far in the round.
Unless they play a card that has a reaction to that.
Yeah. You can earn cards as well that you can use at the start of the turn to do various things like swap tiles with the other player or make everyone rotate or move a piece that's already on the board somewhere new. And basically you keep going until someone crosses a certain point threshold. It's a neat little game.
It's a children's tile-laying game. To try and explain it, imagine that you have a square and at equal points along each edge there are 2 places where a line can go in or go out.
Yes.
And you'll probably know the kind of puzzle we're talking about.
Yeah.
So do those 2 lines connect to each other in an arc? That'll help you make a small circle.
Yeah.
Is there a curve to one of the corner bits on the next side or 90-degree side? That's going to make you a big circle.
Is someone about to get a big circle? Maybe you put a right angle piece in there so that now it's got a square on one side of that circle and you screw it up for them.
That's not a point.
Yeah. It is a well-made game. It's got a very aesthetically pleasant board and layout.
Sustainable too.
Yeah.
Oh, so sustainable.
It's a nice looking game, and it's clear that some graphic design work went into it, but they've overhyped it.
Yeah, they've 100% overhyped it. They've gone really pretentious with it, and I think maybe that's the only way they can charge as much as they have for it.
Yes, because the price on Zatu for it, I believe, is like £50. Like, I think it was the most expensive thing in the box.
Yes.
And you were not getting the most bang for your buck with that.
But I mean, partly because the box is largely empty. There is a huge amount of empty space in that box.
Yes, there is.
So for all their sustainability, they've wasted a lot, and that
They've
will
shipped
have
an
cost them
unnecessarily large box.
Well, it will have cost them in shipping as well. They've gone into the whole thing of, oh, well, there's no plastic involved.
Yeah.
Because it came in a canvas bag, and inside there are canvas bags to hold the tiles and the wooden pieces, except that the wooden pieces came in a plastic bag inside the canvas bag.
Yes, and they didn't need the canvas bag for the game to come in, because it's okay for a game to just come as a game.
And also the outside box of the game came in shrink wrap.
Yeah,
But for some reason we've got the Kickstarter edition. I don't know if Zatu just had a bunch left over.
That happens sometimes. Like, this isn't the first time we've received a Kickstarter edition of something, I don't think.
Isn't it?
I'm pretty sure we have in the past, because it felt very familiar. I can't remember what game. I feel like something else we had a Kickstarter edition of. And I can't tell you because I don't remember what it is, so let's drop this point.
So yeah, that was Otto. Game over. It's alright. It's not worth 50 quid.
It was fun. It's not worth 50 quid. I can't say I'm ever going to be like, I desperately fancy playing that. But with more people, maybe it'll be more enjoyable, and I can see it being like a warm-up game that we maybe put in rotation alongside something like, what's the one with the really nice shiny click-clacks?
Azul.
In that sort of vein of like, hey, we've not ramped up to doing a big game yet, but maybe start the day with something simple and shapes-based.
Yeah, because it's 2 to 4 players.
Yeah.
It kind of has a single player, but even in the manual it's like, get some friends.
Sure.
The whole thing is very weirdly written.
Yeah, also it does a lot of the he will do this.
Oh yeah,
he will do that. On his turn.
Only he gets to play.
Yeah.
Which we start to read now as, oh well, he has to do this, we don't.
Yeah, we don't have to follow that rule in the rule
We
book.
can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, only he has to do that.
Yep. What else have you played?
I've been playing a lot of Pokémon Snap.
New
Pokémon Snap. New Pokémon Snap is on the Switch. You do photography of Pokémon, and you take lots of photos, and you get rated both on like the rarity of the pose that you've captured, and then the composition of the shot, and that's like 2 separate ratings. And you got to do little interactions with the Pokemon to try and get them to do various poses. So, like, maybe there's a Pokemon that's sleeping, maybe you play some nice music and they'll gently wake up and you can get a picture of them, like, having a big stretch. Or you throw some fruit at them to be like, hey, either eat this or get annoyed that I've thrown it at you. Maybe that'll be a picture. You try and find little secret things in the level that might cause new events to happen. You visit areas in the daytime and the nighttime, and then you find new areas to go to. It's just a little gentle, pleasant photography game. It's very wholesome. It's fairly simple in that you usually have a very limited number of interactions available to you, and there is a certain degree of, okay, go back through that area you've already been through, we've changed some things, photographs some new stuff there. Which I'm fine with, but, like, be aware it will be variations on a similar set of content with new stuff added as you play through it, as opposed to constantly going to new places.
Mm-hmm.
I got a picture of a quillfish and it was big and blown up and pufferfished out, and it was a very good picture. And then I got a picture of a Welmer screaming at a Pikuniku as it sort of flew off in the water, just like, the scream sort of blew me away.
Okay.
And I got a picture of a Scorbunny sleeping on the back of a Torterra, and I got lots of good pictures, and I like this game very much.
Yay!
It's my new, I don't have much mental energy on hand, but I want to play something wholesome and nice game. It's very hard for me to criticize this game. I've been made aware that some of the more useful features for getting hard to get photographs are not unlocked until you complete the story mode, which is always a strange choice, but I'm having a very good fun time with it. What about you? What you been playing?
We played Cryo.
We did play
Which is another
Cryo.
board game, new one from Z-Man Games.
Yeah, this was a bit more substantial for your money than Otto was. Yeah, tell us about Cryo.
So you were on a generation ship, and apparently factions were arguing, and someone got the arse, did some sabotage, and then the entire ship crash landed on this very inhospitable planet.
Yep.
And now you have a limited amount of time before the sun goes down and the entire surface becomes entirely unlivable.
Yep. It's getting very cold very fast. Grab materials and get as many of your people into the cave system where they will survive the cold.
Just your people, fuck everyone else.
Preferably, to the higher point scoring areas within the cave. Really scope out those prime bits of cave real estate.
It's got some beautiful pieces in it.
Oh, the little drone figurines are really intricate and nicely detailed.
So basically, it's worker placement, and you have these drones that you will put out onto the map to go and achieve certain things, either getting new things to put in your engine so that you can generate more resources, or going and recovering people in their cryopods, or sending people to go and do salvage work so that you get a steady income of stuff.
It's got a really nice pace to the way that turn structure is done.
Yeah.
Compared to other worker placement games, I really like that the spots you can put your drones on, your workers on, usually are pointing to multiple different things you can do.
Yes.
So if there's a particular thing you want to do this turn, it's not like, oh, someone took that space, I can't use it. It's like, okay, whatever spaces are there that are also pointing to that, so I can also do it. One of the mechanics is that at the start of the game, you will deal out a certain number of damaged platforms, which will mean that sometimes you can't, there is a space that's pointing at that thing I want to do, but it's damaged, so I can't do it unless I have an upgrade that lets me land on damaged spots.
Pretty much everywhere in the game can be reached by at least one place, even when there is damage everywhere.
Yeah. But you might not have a second choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless, as you say, you get upgrades, which... so basically there are cards you can acquire and play, or scrap for their materials, that play 3 possible roles. You can upgrade your platform, so things like, as you said, the ability to land on a damaged platform. You can create or make vehicles that will either ship people down into the cave network, or they'll give you some other benefit sometimes. And then there's missions on those cards. So it might be okay, the people in salvage, I'm probably never going to recover them before the end of the game. So I can play this card, which means I get 2 points for every person in the salvage.
Yeah. Oh, one element of this game I really like as well. I always appreciate a game that's got a game board that's got inlaid spots to put tokens into.
Ah, yes, your personal player boards have got the nice 2-layer thing, like with Scythe.
Yeah. So what you can do with this is that basically, once you've placed out all of your workers and it's time to recall them back in, you have slots you can bring them back to before you start the next round, and each of those slots could correspond to a reward or a cost or something that you can do. And you build that out as you're playing the game. So there are all these little tokens all over the board that might be get 2 diamonds or get 1 machine part. And you sort of build out this layout so it might be okay, if I recall my drone back to here, I can spend a nature point to get 2 machine points or something like that. And you sort of build out the rewards and the costs for the rewards that you can get between rounds, which is a really interesting bit of way to differentiate the different players and how their engines work. Yeah,
it's a lovely little game. It's fun, plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. Again, 2 to 4 players. I'm very much looking forward to trying this in higher player counts. but very much enjoying it so far. It's a lot of fun and seems to scale really well.
Yeah, it is one of the more impressive games we've had out of the two boxes. I'm very pleased with this one.
Well, what else have you played?
I've played some indie games this week. We'll start with one that I have really mixed feelings on. I played a game called Before I Forget.
Ooh, I watched you play some of this on stream last night.
So, this is a game that I've been anticipating for a while. I think it was on my 2020 most anticipated indie games of the year list. It is a game about living with dementia, and I'll say this. It's like an hour, maybe a little over an hour long, and I think for the vast majority of this game's runtime, while being heavy, it is a impactful, well put together, beautiful little game for most of its runtime. I think that the way it depicts things such as getting disoriented in your own home, losing track of time while trying to do basic upkeep tasks around the house, some of those things are very effectively handled to portray a very real lived experience. I think that game completely fucking fumbles its ending. I played this on stream, and within a few minutes of finishing, we were like... Chat had come up with several better ways to end this game that would have, I don't want to say too much. I expected a game like this to have a pretty heavy ending, because it's not the kind of story that has a happy ending. I was okay with a sad ending.
Even a tough ending.
Yeah, a tough ending, a sad ending, an emotionally...
But not one that just massively comes across as ableist.
Yeah. So skip ahead like 30 seconds if you don't want to know spoilers. My interpretation of the ending is that it very much comes across as the best thing that could happen to someone with dementia is that they die, because then they'll get to, not have dementia when they see their loved ones in the afterlife. That's how it came across, right?
Oh, yeah, strongly agree. I mean, all of chat was much the same.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's... don't approve of that.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, there are ways this story could have ended. Like, it's a story about someone who's having difficulty remembering things. It could have looped right back to the start, and that would have been, heartbreaking that this character had all this sort of realization and character development, and then all of it's gone again. Like, that could have been a really heartbreaking, meaningful, impactful ending.
And accurate.
Yeah. It really bothered me, this ending.
I know, I watched you.
Yeah. I want to talk to the people who made it, because I'm Twitter mutuals with the developer, and I want to have a conversation with them at some point and go, what were you trying to get across with that ending? Because here's what I got, and I really want to understand if that was the intended reading or if you were going for something else that you miss, like that went past me. Because I wanted to be able to recommend this game, but I really struggle to right now.
Yeah.
It's not okay to end stories about mental health that way. That is the most fucking depressing fucking...
I don't mind depressing in a story about mental health.
It's ableist. It's specifically ableist. It's specifically verging a little bit on little eugenics-y. It's not great. What did you play this week?
I mean, I was going to say a really bad game, but you've trumped me.
Tell me about your really bad game.
I played some Minecraft Dungeons for some reason.
Tell me about Minecraft Dungeons.
It's a really crap
dungeon crawler
game. Yeah. Random loot drops.
Yeah.
And such.
Diablo for kids. Ish.
Diablo for kids. Diablo for 3-year-olds.
That game has a terrible difficulty curve. It doesn't have a difficulty curve. It has a difficulty flat line and then a big spike at the end.
Oh, you got to the end. No.
Yeah.
Like, I walked through the entire, every level in the game.
Zero trouble, zero problems.
Got to the final level and it was like, oh, okay, this is this has ramped up some because suddenly there's like a bajillion random enemies. Plus, then after that, you've got to fight a boss, which is like just a bullet hell. It's like, okay.
It didn't ease you up to there at all.
No, it went, okay, you've got this far. Now fuck off and redo everything until you've got the proper weapons to defeat this. Because this is a game that desperately wants you to replay and replay and replay.
Yes, which would be fine if there was any challenge or any fun to be found in redoing it.
Like, you can turn the difficulty up and down, but it's still not fun.
Yeah.
Most of the time, turning the difficulty up, even like a couple of levels above yours, is suddenly nigh impossible to play. And anything below you is just mundane.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different with friends, but like that's the Borderline response, Borderlands response. It's crap. Do better.
If your game has a single player mode, balance it for single player.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness. I played another indie game I was a bit disappointed with this week, which is a shame. I tried playing Disc Creatures.
Oh, this is not Pokemon.
Yeah, this is not Pokemon. It looks like a original Game Boy era Pokemon game. It's on Steam. So I've got some problems with this. It is basically Pokemon with a few tweaks, and I can point out what the tweaks are. You have a team of 3 Pokemon you can have on you at any one time, that are all out in battle every battle. So you're essentially doing 3-on-3 battles. Rather than having PP for moves that's like consumable and there's no way to get it back in battle, you have energy. It's a shared pool per Pokemon, but you can basically take a turn in battle charging, which will refill a big chunk of that bar.
But you'll be more fragile.
It'll open you up to critical hits, and there's, at least in the early game, there's not a way to be like, okay, well, I'll charge that Pokemon up to get its energy back, and I'll use another Pokemon to defend them, or anything like that. There's no options. There's no options to defend your very at-risk Pokemon. You just have to hope you luck out and they don't get attacked. Which is a bit weird. The game has a very confusing menu system when you're in battle, in that it's very unclear, is this a normal type attack? Is this an elementally charged attack? There's a lot of lack of clarity on that. They have a system of rating the damage of attacks that, instead of giving you hard numbers, tries to be like Dark Souls and have the letter grading system, but that leaves a lot of weird ambiguity as to exactly how strong or not something is. Like, anything that shares a letter grade will be closest in damage, but maybe not exactly the same. It's tough to tell if something's stronger than something else. I did like that of your pool of moves that you learned, you could at any time switch which 4 were active on a Pokemon, that it wasn't, you forgot that move to make room for this one and now that one's gone. You can sort of tweak it over time. The capture system, you fight wild Pokemon, and there's just a random percentage drop chance that you might get to have it after you fight it. There's no catching mechanics, just defeat them and hope you get one. Also, the game starts with way too much tutorial before you get to do anything.
And yet you still didn't seem to understand most of what you dealt with once you actually came to it.
Yeah, I had like 15 minutes of going through text and having shit explained to me before I got to have my first fight, and I still didn't understand, okay, my electric Pokemon, is that an electric attack or is that a normal type attack? I don't know. And I should be able to work that out after 15 minutes of tutorial. I wanted to like it. It looked cool. It looked interesting. Some of the creature designs were nice.
Penguin.
Yeah. The penguin was good. The blue penguin duck was great. I liked some of the creature designs. I liked some of the music design. I liked that they were trying to go for something. What they were trying to go for, I feel like they missed the mark, and I wasn't having a good time playing it. I've played not Pokemon games before. This certainly ain't a Temtem or something equivalent to that. This is
Ooblets.
Yeah, Ooblets. This is not one of those quality takes on the monster hunting genre.
I mean, I think the best thing about it, from what I can tell, is the graphics.
I mean, mainly.
Like, they've perfectly captured that Game Boy
Yeah.
era game.
They've managed to capture it perfectly without just ripping off assets, which was commendable. Yeah, what about you? What have you played this week?
That's it.
I'm pretty sure I played something else, but I was expecting you to have something else having played, so I'm now having to talk until I find what I've played.
Talking to the fun thing.
Yes, I played the first 3 or 4 hours of Returnal.
Ooh.
So this is the new Housemarque game. It's a new sort of Sony, not technically a first-party exclusive, but might as well bloody be at this point. It is a third-person shooter roguelike, where you play as this sort of Tilda Swinton-looking character who has crashed on an alien planet, and every time you die, you wake up back in the ship as it's crashing. Oh, mysterious. Go through levels, do lots of shooting of very difficult enemies, dodging and dashing and jumping out the way of bullet hell patterns, but in third person. Eventually get to bosses, get some narrative, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot I like about this game. Despite being very difficult, it feels very, very responsive and very well made. I was never finding myself blaming the game for my deaths. I consistently felt very in control and like the game was giving me every chance possible to be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the system they have around cursed reward items. So, you know, in a lot of, like, your Bindings of Isaac and Hades and games like that, you will sometimes get, like, hey, have an extra item that'll, you know, boost up your stats, but it'll come with a trade-off and, you know, something like that. Maybe it'll last a few rooms. The way that this game handles that is cursed items will have a probability of causing you a negative downside, and, you know, it might be, there's a low chance of that causing you problems, all the way up to extreme chance. And there are very few feelings in this game as good as picking up an extreme chance of cursing your item and it doesn't curse you. And generally, if it does give you a curse, it'll give you a very concrete way to get rid of it that you will probably eventually do in gameplay anyway, such as, go find a parasite upgrade, or go pick up this many of the currency that you spend during runs, or things like that. But yeah, it's got a really good tone to it. It feels very Aliens. Very, very, very alien, very alien-esque setting and tone, and some of the it's fun playing it's a good third-person shooter, bullet hell roguelike. It's trying to be a lot of things at once, and it sometimes gets a little muddled in that, but I've had a lot of fun playing it. It's a very polished roguelike. What about you? What are you? Oh, you've not played anything else, have you?
That's it. I'm done.
I played one other thing this week.
Tell us about it. Tell.
I am a few hours deep into playing through the demo for Miitopia.
Ooh, I watched you do some of this. It's adorable.
Yeah.
You've made a little mix.
Yeah.
A little me.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know about Miitopia, it was a late generation release for the 3DS that's now coming to the Switch. It's a little RPG where you put Miis in. So do you want the big bad villain to be a Boo from Mario, and the bumbling guard outside the castle to be Nigel Thornberry? You can do that.
And Cosmignon has done a beautiful selection of
Indeed.
Dice Funk characters.
The wonderful Cosmignon has done a big batch of very well-made Dice Funk character Miis that are available. And they are populating my game quite considerably. There is a Neelith Mii that is currently in the party of adventurers with us, because they took the chef role. They're a little chef. It is a fairly mechanically simple RPG. The joy in it is mainly in the silly, light-hearted nonsense that comes about from, that's me and my girlfriend's doing a magic fight. Like, that's the thing. You can build up relationship stats, which involves going on lots of very gay dates, which has been very nice. I scanned a bunch of amiibo to get little outfits that I could dress everyone up in. That's pretty good. You're a warrior dressed like a bee currently. That demo was surprisingly beefy. There is a lot of demo in that demo. Beefy. Yeah, because at some point while I was playing, you were like, how much demo is there here? It's like,
you've been at it a couple of hours at that point.
Yeah. There's a lot of demo in this demo. It's a big beefy demo.
A chunky demo.
Yeah, there is enough there to really sink your teeth into, and the save data carries over to the full game. So, if you just want a light-hearted, not particularly difficult RPG where you can go like, "That's me in there," this is a fun way to do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything I've played this week.
Well then,
time for this.
So just let me check. So I've had my second one. You've got your second one booked for next week.
Yeah.
When's your one?
I've still got like a month left, but like it's not going to be a huge amount of time. Yeah, that's fairly soon.
So Jan, are you ready to get us back into the world?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to get back to D&D. I'm so ready to DM again.
We're so ready to play with you. I mean, the world you've made, it's always been just so fantastic and in depth. And, the way you've always managed to keep all those story threads just, up in the air going, even when we split the party. And
yeah, and we've had like a whole year since
exactly. I
played.
imagine you've been brewing away with some things.
Oh, if you only knew what I've done with the last year of definitely planning DM story stuff.
I have snacks on standby. I am so ready for us to have our jabs.
Yeah, well, I've got to head off. It's been really lovely having this call. I can't wait to do that D&D with you all again soon. Oh, I've got so much story ready.
So hyped to play.
Okay, am I off the call? Oh god. I haven't prepared anything in a year. It's been a year of not DMing. Oh god. What was the story even? What was the story? We were trying to probably save the world. That seems like it would make sense. It's probably that. Oh god, where have I even put my binder full of DM's notes? Have we done that bit of the adventure yet, or did I just think it up and think it would be good to do, and maybe we haven't done it yet? Oh god. Oh gosh, I'm not ready. I'm not prepared for this.
Jan, we can still hear you.
That was me workshopping my new character. The stressed virtual DM fantasy master.
Oh, I can't stand you. You're bloody awful this one, eh?
Hey, you bloody arsehole. Don't know why I spent time with you.
I spent any time with you either, yeah. Bloody, yeah, just the worst. You smell bad.
Oh, you got bad taste in everything.
I do tonight, hey! Just the worst, just literally the worst people on earth. There's nothing worse, is there? Nothing worse. You.
I can't stand you.
Worst person on earth. I would literally kill you.
I would literally kill you.
Yeah.
Best friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way, but I fucking hate you.
I fucking hate you. In a fun way.
Because this is how it sounds when neurotypicals are bantering at each other. I don't get it. It sounds so aggressive, and you all sound like you hate each other.
I mean, this bleeds over into the whole everyone hating their wives thing. I don't understand.
I don't understand it. Although, from what I can tell, they do seem genuinely disgruntled by...
I don't know why they hate their friends.
I don't know why they hate their friends or their partners. Can they not just get on? I don't understand. Banter is confusing and scary. Just want people to be nice and hold hands.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to hold hands, they don't have to. Comfort for all, and no raised voices. Woo.
So,
What have you put in your eye, Meats?
I watched something that I did not think would be my jam, but it turned out to be pretty good.
How jammy was that jam?
So I watched a show called Peepadoo and the Superfuck Friends.
Sure.
Yeah, so this was something that was recommended. Like, it showed up in YouTube recommendations, and I was like, I'm morbidly curious, let's find out. This is an animated show made by a production company that primarily for the past, 10 years has worked on children's animated TV, and was like, we just want to work on something fucking different for a bit. So they kickstarted an adult animated show about sex education that is taught through the lens of, it's got that very Happy Tree Friends kind of energy of child-friendly aesthetic that clearly has adult content in it, but instead of being violence, it's sex content, and it clearly relies a little bit on ha 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 gross out humor, but it does so basically as a gateway to be like, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? Let's have a conversation about consent while we're here. Like, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? But also don't kink shame. Ha ha ha, isn't that funny? But also, old people can have fulfilling sex lives and don't have grapefruit juice if you're on, Viagra as medication, because it'll stop it working.
I mean, don't have grapefruit juice for lots of medication.
Oh, indeed, for lots of medication, but specifically for sex reasons, they were like, yeah, this is one of the medications it'll fuck with.
Just don't with grapefruit juice. It's not worth it. Grapefruit it's bitter, it's unpleasant, and it interacts with a load of medications.
Indeed it does. But now I know why it interacts with Viagra. It's not because it interferes with the medication itself. It's just that it has the opposite effect on blood vessels. One constricts blood vessels and the other dilates them, and the two sort of cancel each other out. Facts.
The more you know.
Yeah. So I done learned some facts from this wheel show. Here's where I went from, this is an interesting curiosity to, okay, I feel kind of safe recommending this. There is a trans character in it, and I braced like fuck.
Understandably.
That was coming up.
Given our experience with the Shrek musical.
Yeah, in passing, the Shrek musical, don't. If you don't want to hear the T-slur just dropped 10 minutes out the gate.
Apparently they only recorded it once, and while they have changed the stage show, they haven't changed the recording that's just gone up on Netflix.
But yeah, no, to very much simplify, this trans character in this show, there's a little bit of simplified language, but the basic idea is character is like, hey, goes to doctor who is basically like, Dr. Pussycat the sex doctor, and is basically like, hey, I'm not feeling super comfortable in myself and my body and my gender. And the end of the episode, when it comes back to being a thing, is very quickly and matter-of-factly, yeah, I should be happy with who I am. Please call me Evelyn now. And change his outfit, and that is all that is ever said about it. And everyone is very positive and supportive afterwards, and it wasn't a joke in any way. And I was like,
the bare minimum, it's about fucking time.
Honestly, in a show like this where it's like, ha ha ha, gross out adult humour, the bare minimum is millions of miles ahead of most things. If a show like this can avoid taking the easy laugh, ha ha ha, trans people, I'm generally willing to go, hey, this is probably going to be fairly safe to watch. I can probably trust this not to be terrible. See, yeah, it's very sexually explicit, but if you're curious about 5-minute long episodes of an animated comedy thing that tries to teach about sex concepts, it was interesting. I'm glad I gave it some time. What about you? What have you watched this week?
We watched the SpongeBob musical. It's vastly superior to
the Shrek musical.
Bit of the Shrek musical we watched.
Yeah, hell yeah. The SpongeBob musical's legitimately really good.
It's got some really good tunes in it. I very much liked a lot of the costuming. They did an amazing job with Squidward's costume, with the 4 legs.
Yes. So all of the character casting in this is very good. They're not trying to mimic the characters from the cartoon to the letter. For
example, Mr. Krabs is just a fairly broad guy wearing giant boxing gloves.
Exactly. And, like, they capture the general archetypes that are going on without being beholden to, let's make this identical to how it was performed before.
SpongeBob is an adorable twink
Yeah.
in his, like, very short shorts.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't try and follow, like, it also doesn't try and follow the story of a particularly well-known SpongeBob episode. It's not, like, trying to do the, like, let's do that episode you all know, but as a musical.
Yeah, I mean, you will hear It's the Best Day Ever, which is from an episode.
You will,
like...
but they hold it right. It's the only bit of, I think, like, fan servicey thing they do, and they hold it
so.
real late.
Yeah.
It's clearly there to... They use it for a reason. It's not too tacky.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job.
Oh, Plankton's act is great.
Oh, Plankton was amazing.
Plankton was amazing. Yeah... there's a few musical numbers that maybe could have been trimmed. It maybe had a little bit of bloat here and there, but, like, overall it was...
wasn't overly long for a musical.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours, and I think they did a really good job of it.
I enjoyed Patrick.
Oh, Patrick's actor was great. I very much enjoyed bisexual flamboyant news reporter.
Non-binary news reporter. Like, the first time we
Yes,
saw
it was
them...
non-binary, was it? Yes.
First time we saw them, like, are they wearing a non-binary flag?
They've got a very non-binary outfit colour scheme going on.
Especially, like, in the first shot you see them, where they're sort of just, like, from tummy up.
Yes.
And it's, like, purple hair.
That fabulous purple sort of wave on the hair is wonderful.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
And the sardines.
Yeah, it's just a very wholesome, light-hearted, fun musical. I recommend it a lot. Oh, they did great work with the set work.
Yeah, like the whole thing of the moving the cages full of boxes around.
Yes, for climbing the mountain. Yeah.
Like, with just 3 cages, they managed to, like, get a whole, like, 10-minute piece of them climbing the mountain, and it genuinely felt like they were going through different types of terrain.
They did a very good job with sparse but very evocative bits of set dressing, such as the pool noodles for Coral and...
Oh, the kelp.
Yeah, the kelp. The
noodles.
pool noodles. Yeah, it's
quite joyous.
Yeah, I really like the musical numbers in it. So one thing about this musical is that every musical number was done by a different sort of mainstream pop artist, and it gives the show, like, it keeps it feeling fresh, every musical number. It never feels like, oh, I've heard this song already. Which is good. It's a real nice musical.
I just remember the whole thing with Sally, and just thinking, like, all of us sitting there going, oh.
Yeah.
So Sally is played by a black woman, and there is a scene where, what is it, mammals go home?
Land mammals go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a plot line that is about, hey, you're different from all of us. Get out of here. You're not welcome in our community.
With your science.
And, yeah. It's very clearly a racism allegory that is, like, it's not necessarily handled badly. It's just
it was just a moment of, oh.
It suddenly comes out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, we were having a light-hearted time. Are we ready for this?
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
Also because most of the fish that have built that sign are white.
Yeah, well, I think that's deliberate. That being said, a lot of this musical's plot felt very, very timely and appropriate this year in terms of skepticism of science being a major concern, even when the end of the world seems very imminent.
But they had a charismatic leader.
Yeah, the charismatic person telling you don't listen to scientists. Bury your head in the sand. That's what the politicians tell you.
Yep.
Yeah. SpongeBob musical's good.
It's good. It's very
good. Go check it out. It's a good musical.
You watched anything else?
What else have I watched?
Vamping for time.
Vamping for time.
Vamping for time.
Oh, I found a new train video to watch. It's a very good train video. I like it very much. This is The Gan, Australia's Greatest Train Journey, 2017. So this is a 3-hour-long documentary about the world's longest passenger train in Australia, which takes a 3-day journey from the south coast of Australia to the north coast of Australia. It is over 1 kilometre long, this train. It is a very, very big, very long train.
Long.
And this is a 3-hour documentary that condenses 3 days of train into 3 hours. Has little facts about Australia and the places you're going through and the construction of the railway and the type of train.
Some beautiful shots.
It's a lot of train. And it has lots and lots of different viewing perspectives and angles and shots so that it's like messing with all the view buttons in Train Simulator. It is a fantastic, wonderful, long watch train video that I have been really, really enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
I have one criticism of it, and my criticism of this is that it's clearly made by people in Australia, and it glosses over the likely deaths of some Aboriginal people in the construction of the railway. Because the one of the factoids talks about Aboriginal workers working on the railway, and then the next factoid talks about lots of workers who worked on the railway died. And it glosses over what I imagine is probably we forced Aboriginal people to work on this train line and they died. Probably that's what happened. It feels very like... We're just going to skim over that one. It's one pair of on-screen bits of text being a little bit glossy overy in a 3-hour video. It's not ideal, but the bulk of this is a very satisfying train video. I've been very much enjoying. It's a very good train video.
Trains!
Trains! Trains! I know I said this last week, but I went on trains last week. Trains!
Choo-choo.
Miss trains. Trains are good.
Trains are good.
This is having gone on actual trains has not dampened my excitement for train videos at all. If anything, it's made me go, yeah, trains are good. Let's watch more of them. Trains. This will pass again soon, but trains. What about you? What do you watch this week?
I've watched a load of pixel art videos, which is weird because I have no intention to make pixel art. It has helped me with some ideas about character design stuff, because I have been trying to draw something for about 2 months, and I just keep going, I've got no idea. So recently I got an idea, and I've been using a concept I learned from the pixel art videos about just making your silhouette first, and then just putting the different values in grayscale first. So you can get just a feel for this that will work at any scale. So that I think that's sort of hopefully improving this piece of art I'm desperately trying to work on. So the videos I've been watching have been by Brandon James Greer on YouTube and Adam C. Eunice. They both do some really nice small scale art stuff. It's mostly pixel art stuff, but just the concept of doing art just as small as possible is been quite interesting and learning stuff about posing at that scale and how you do those things.
Yeah.
And I think it's Brandon that did a video of Spirited Away in pixel art style. And it's the scene where they're having the conversation over the river and the wolf is looking kind of sad.
Yeah.
Just done Game Boy Advance style.
Yeah.
It's really nicely done, and just watching all the trees being built and the various techniques for that and how that was done is very cool.
Yeah.
Also, I just really like pixel art. It reminds me of the sort of 16-bit era that I grew up with. So it's sort of homely without being just sticking with the old stuff.
Oh, yay.
Oh, what about you?
We watched a thing together. We watched the first few episodes of a Netflix show called Shadow and Bone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Shadow and Bone is an adaptation of a young adult novel series. it had that feel, didn't it?
You did. I couldn't put my finger on why, but you knew exactly why.
Oh yeah, no. There was a scene where it was like, here is all the 10 to 12-year-olds discovering they have magical powers, except here's a get-out clause of how you, who is older than that, might not have discovered yet that you actually have those powers. It's very young adult fantasy setup.
Yes.
So yeah, the idea is that this is a world where people have control of various elements. It's very Avatar: The Last Airbender. You've got your people who can bend certain elements. That element needs to be present for them to manipulate it. They're not creating it out of nothing. I don't think they are.
I not, because the special power of the main hero.
Well, okay, the main hero, yeah, a little bit.
And the Darkling, I don't think has to have darkness, right?
Well, the wind and stone and fire, I think, need to have those elements. Because I think there's a whole conversation about, like, we're not making this out of nowhere. Like, they're channeling it from somewhere. But generally, it's, hey, magical powers themed around elements. There's this big void that is basically splitting the two halves of this nation apart. That is full of monsters and people enter and they never leave, and it's made of dark shadow magic. And our protagonist, you're the one person that has been foretold in Destiny that can summon light and can maybe get rid of the big shadow darkness void.
Spoilers for the end of episode 1.
I mean, yeah, that's fairly base premise stuff, I think. Yeah. Go on adventures of what are we going to do now we know you're the chosen one.
Yeah, you've also got some sort of motley criminal group that are trying to get basically out of their criminal lifestyle. They're trying to do the heist of the century.
Yeah, the heist of the century that probably involves the protagonist.
Probably.
Yeah, it's been well acted. I've been enjoying some of like the world building and the tone.
Yeah, I am curious about some of it because I read the Wikipedia for the sort of the outline of it.
Yeah.
And they talk about like they mentioned Prague at one point, and we've talked about how most of the text in the show appears to be Russian. I don't read Russian, but it looks like Russian characters.
I think it's not quite Russian.
I
think it's knockoff Russian. Rushish.
Yeah, I think they've mentioned like a couple of other places that are sort of like have vaguely European. European
it
feels.
seems like maybe this is our real world in the future. Maybe.
Yeah. Also, the fact that somebody referred to the king as Monsar.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm intrigued. I want to know more. We're very early on in it. It's good slow burn at the start, but I'm intrigued.
The like graphics for the powers and stuff have been quite cool so far.
Yeah.
I am curious to know where it goes. Apparently, it's 8 episodes that have been done for Netflix, and it encompasses the first trilogy of
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and Bone. It's the first. I keep wanting to call it Storm and something. It's the first trilogy that includes Shadow and Bone, and the trilogy after that, or the duology after that.
Yeah.
So it's 5 books squeezed into 8 episodes that are like 45 minutes long. What about you? You watched anything else?
I think that's it for me. What about you?
I think that's everything I've watched.
Well then, time for this.
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, how do you feel about topiary?
I love a good sort of well-maintained shrub.
A well-maintained bush.
Yes.
Yes. Well, in that sort of genre, have you considered womanscaped.lol.net?
Oh, I see.
If you happen to be the kind of person who engages in a little bit of minge topiary.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, if you happen to be someone who landscapes you down below. Womanscaped.lol.net. I'm not sure about the name, but yeah.
I mean, I would rather see adverts for this than the ball shaving ones that have been going around.
I would rather put a pair of shaved balls in my mouth than a pair of hairy ones.
I mean, agreed. But I don't need you to tell me about ball shaving. I am not your target market.
No. Well, maybe they're thinking that you might, have a ball-having person kicking around. You're like, those hairy tennis balls, get them out, get them off my chin.
Clearly, the algorithm doesn't know me at all.
I mean, if you've done anything like I have, where you've turned off all of your advertising settings, and now you get adverts for things like industrial presses, and industrial cleaning equipment, and lab for equipment. Do you need beakers? Oh, I know somewhere that will get you some good beakers.
So this is womanscaped.lol.net.
And enter the code QNPS166, and you can get all number of special. It's just a really good razor.
Just a really good razor for you downstairs.
Yeah, it's got like a little edging thing. If you look at the thing, it just like you can flip it over, and at one end it's just got like an edger on it, so you can just do your bikini liner.
Oh, that's not what I thought an edger was for.
No, that's the vibrating edger that's different, and you have to be really careful with the blade on that one. Despite the name, you can just go to womanscape.lol.net. Anyone who wants to do a bit of pubic topiary, go for it. Inside the boardroom of Electronic Actor Softworks.
Hi. So we've got a problem again.
Another one.
I know they keep
Solemn
happening.
JPEG.
Solemn JPEG indeed. So the gamers TM.
Yeah, money.
But occasionally
there's a problem with money.
I know. Occasionally they disagree about what they want video games to be, and that's not good because, we want all of them to buy the video games.
Yeah.
So here's today's gamer spat. Some of them want video games to be impossibly hard all the time.
Yeah, they want to be the guy.
Exactly. Anything other than the only difficulty mode is incredibly hard and you will never complete it, and it's gonna burn your fingers off if you try and play it. That's the only way video games.
If you don't have RSI by the end of it, you are not a true gamer.
If you're not like that one video game from back in a couple of decades back where you had to spin it with your palm to do the mini games and you had blisters in your palms.
Yeah, lose an entire hand to that.
Exactly. If you're not going to get green in your hand, you're not gaming enough.
If it's not necrotizing, you're not a gamer. You are not the Dark Soul.
Exactly. But problem is,
right,
the vast majority of people cannot play games at that difficulty and do not want to play games at that difficulty.
Well, no, they just, they say that to, it's elitism, the kind we really like.
Exactly. So we need a way to put easy modes in games without making the people that don't want easy modes in games be upset that there's an easy mode in the game.
Right. So, something semantic, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. So here's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
I think it's a branding issue.
Yeah.
I think if we put an easy mode in a game, we give it some kind of name that destigmatizes it, makes it something that all the gamers will want to play.
Right.
Maybe that's a way we can sort of backdoor it in.
Right. Have you got anything on the list?
I've been working on some stuff.
Sure.
How about let me pull this up. True hardcore gamer mode.
True hardcore, yeah, the real gaming mode, and then like a little insulting thing maybe on the difficulty page, and it's like, if you don't play on this level, you're a tiny baby, like you're an embryo, you're barely a zygote.
Exactly, because here's the thing. The thing. They might twig, they might work it out, they might go, oh, this is actually easy mode, but like, picture the semantics from them when they have to go on Twitter or whatever and start going, I hate that so many people play the game on true hardcore gamer mode. They should get on my level and play it on normal mode.
Yeah.
That's gonna look real bad for them. So they're probably gonna have to just drop the whole argument right there.
Bunch of defaults. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not brave enough to play on true hardcore gamer mode where you have a fun time that's more balanced for the average consumer.
You are a fucking genius.
I know.
So. You have poured things into your ears.
I listen to a lot.
So many years.
Where should I even start?
Where would you even start?
Yeah, Okay, so I listened to some new tracks this week. I've been listening to new music. I'll go through like the other tracks and then we'll get to the drum and bass at the end. So I listened to a track called Cotton Tongue by a band called Nailbiter.
I've been there.
Slightly nasally, slightly gothy femme vocalist over like very power chord driven studio punk, like that sort of slightly polished sound. Really unique vocal quality, and the ways that the vocals mix with the melody are really engaging. There's a track called 10 Simple Murders by the Future Kings of Nowhere. It's a sort of folk punk track, very storytelling heavy, almost spoken word lyrics, about a killer's escalating spree through 10 kills, from accidental kill that wasn't meant to happen up until where the narrative ends. It is a wonderful bit of storytelling done to music that is very engaging, that I enjoyed very much.
Mm-hmm.
I very much enjoyed a track called Fire Fire by David Michael Bennett. Very laid-back acoustic guitar track about a fire on a space station and the loneliness of knowing there's nowhere to go. Very somber, but very interesting track. I also listened to a track called How to Be Alone by Alison Weese.
Important life skill.
It's a sort of stripped back power chord rock with a really nice melodic vocal line over it about learning to exist alone after existing with someone for a long time. And then we get to the drum and bass.
Drum and bass.
So I've been listening to a track on loop this week. When I was traveling like a week ago, I was listening to this track a bunch. It's called Breathe by Champion and Vila. Really lovely bit of like multiple layered liquid drum and bass with lots and lots of layers of sound to unpack that are very pleasant. Really nice vocal line on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good track, isn't it?
It's a good track.
Which
You were like, what genre is this? I was like, that's drum and bass.
I was like, I know it's
my baby.
It's drum and bass, but like, is there like a subgenre of drum and bass? And you're like,
really fall into a subgenre.
Yeah. So I've been going through drum and bass, being like, no. Ooh, that.
Yeah.
So I've been finding some nice sort of flowy liquid drum and bassy stuff. Also, side note, this was just a different track that I was very into. Follow Me by Shock One, which I'm pretty sure you've talked about on this show before.
Yeah.
That has that sort of automated, like computer-generated voice going on. I don't know if it's actually that or if it's
I'm pretty sure it's computer-generated voice because I think it's the same computer-generated voice that Adam Freeland used for We Want Your Soul way back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. So it is a very aggressive computer voice being like, hey, follow me on all the social platforms or you're going to lose your fucking mind.
Sorry.
Yeah. Very, very aggressively demanding you do it, but to a good beat. But yes, the other bits of music I found this week, Nothing for Free by Pendulum.
Yay.
I did that thing where it's like, oh, this is a really good track. Oh, it's
Of course it's Pendulum.
Of course it's Pendulum. I mean, look, Pendulum make good music.
Pendulum made some good music.
They make some good music.
Are they still making music? I don't know.
I don't know. I know we did this at New Year's when we were listening to music where you were like, oh, who's that? Oh, it's Pendulum.
Of course it's Pendulum.
Of course it's Pendulum.
I always mean to look up the who does this track because I really enjoy. Oh, it's Pendulum. Of course it's Pendulum.
I also enjoyed a track called Words by Faint and Laura Brem.
Faint.
Tell us about Faint. I don't know who Faint are.
Faint, boy genius. Basically, I think made, the other track I mentioned to you today was My Sunset, which I think he made when he was like 15. Like, he's been making drum and bass from a very early age, and it's to an incredible quality.
My Sunset is a real somber track. It's definitely not as upbeat, but it is a gorgeous, powerful bit of music.
It's a beautiful progression to a piece of music.
But
a little bit more melancholy to that one.
Yeah. And then the last one that I stumbled upon was Ghost Assassin, original mix, by Madook and Vila.
Madook!
Is Madook, they good too?
They're good too. You've definitely heard the track Feel Good. You make me
Probably.
feel good.
Yeah. I'm very bad at recognizing who people are in this genre.
To be fair, the only reason I know that is because the rave I regularly used to go to, there is like a whole community around that rave
Yes.
that have a spreadsheet made with every track they ever play.
Yeah, that spreadsheet's wonderful.
That's how I found like a lot of my favourite drum and bass tunes.
That same event has their like, hey, go back and listen to the set list, and if you listen to it through like VLC, it'll have the track name and the artist come up down the bottom. So I've been like, oh, I really enjoyed a track last night and I don't remember it. I'm just going to put this on and hope it comes up again so I can find out what it is.
Also, you can hear all those songs that you missed because you were in the toilet or queuing for the toilet.
I mean, that too, yeah. What about you? What have you listened to?
I listened to another album by the Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
I need to find it now because apparently I lost the thing. I had it. Oh, I had it.
You did have it.
It's something pop, a survival pop extended album version. It's available on Bandcamp, and it's more good queercore sounds, like everything from your good hard rock punky sounds to more sort of like somber ballady bits. It's yeah. I'm really enjoying the Warriors, like slowly going backwards through their discography. Yeah, it's good stuff. They have good vocal lines. They have some beautiful melodies and some good sort of punky, some good punky sounds.
They're good.
Like it.
They're a good one.
They're good ones.
Yeah.
Have you listened to anything else?
That's it for me this week.
Well then.
Time for this.
Oh, it's lovely out, isn't it?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh, do you fancy a trip to the museum?
Sure.
Look at all this empty space. I hear they are turning this into housing.
I mean, that is a good use of the space. There are people who need housing.
Got rid of the Rosetta Stone. Marbles returned.
Indeed. Things back where they belong.
Oh. I mean, what else have you got here? I mean, we have, don't get me wrong, there is the gift shop still here.
Oh, yes.
And we've got, like, all the things we found in those Roman burial mounds. There's a lot of coins and arrowheads and, just the usual stuff.
Yeah.
Anything from a Roman invasion, some pottery, some light pottery.
Yeah.
But, the rest of it, we're just knocking it all into individual units for housing.
I mean, that sounds wonderful.
Beautiful old building, this.
Oh, I know. Lovely.
Oh, I tell you what we should do after this. We should take a trip down to Buckingham Palace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I heard my landlord's head is on a spike on the gate there now.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
How'd they get a spot there?
Well, they did take all of the landlords down to Buckingham Palace and just shoot them in the main guard area.
I mean,
out front.
there's a lot of landlords. I didn't know they had enough spikes for them all.
Well, yeah, apparently because it's quite a long fence all the way around.
I suppose so. It is quite a long fence.
Landlords, Tories, but of course we just chuck the Tories in the bin because they didn't deserve the glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, so housing much easier to come by these days.
Ah, how lovely.
Ah, revolution did wonders for us all.
Indeed.
Hello.
Hi.
Back from my jab.
What, the COVID one?
Had the COVID jab.
What? I'm terribly sorry to ask. What is that
It is a 5G antenna.
That's a 5G antenna.
Yeah.
What?
Got a discount on all the cybernetic implants when I offered to be a 5G antenna.
Oh, so this isn't you got the COVID vaccine and you now 5G is a thing.
No. That'd be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. On the way home, I met this just near the jab centre, I met this very charismatic sort of cybernetics salesperson, and apparently there's been having difficulty getting 5G, aerials put up, because, housing associations and tenants associations are like trying to stop them all. But if you volunteer to have one installed, they'll give you all the, look at this, I can control my body temperature with a dial now.
Oh, heck. I mean,
I've got heat vision.
this does mean I'm gonna get fast internet now.
Right.
I mean, even if it had been the COVID jab that done it, 5G seems like a worthwhile price.
I mean,
to
you're
pay.
welcome to use my 5G.
Thank you. Awesome.
Want a cup of tea? I've got a button for that now. Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Racial justice warriors.
Racial justice warriors.
Yeah.
All right, Larry. All right, Barry. How you doing?
I've booked me vaccine, mate.
Oh, you booked your vaccine?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, how that happening soon, is it?
Yeah. Well, you know, I am over 40, so I'm now within the bracket from
In the
my local
bracket.
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as soon as I could, booked in.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Ah,
I mean, I'll work out it's going to be somewhere around August before I can, you know, actually even, you know, consider myself to be, like, past as safe as one could be at this point.
yeah, sort of what 95%. That is what you're
I believe that is
aiming for.
what they're estimating.
Yeah. That's the thing. I've seen a lot of people who've been getting theirs recently, who've been, you know, coming into the age bracket, and
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people who have seemingly taken it as an excuse to be like, aha, I have had one jab, therefore I don't need a mask anymore, and I
dear.
can go, you know, out in the street in big crowds again, and it's all fine.
Oh dear.
Yeah, there's a lot of people not realising that the day you have your first jab is not the finish line.
No, indeed, the day that you have your second jab is not the finish
Well,
line.
this is
either.
it. I think there's a lot of people who either don't know or haven't paid attention or don't care about the fact that your first jab takes somewhere in the region of 10 to 14 days to
Have any effect?
have any noticeable effect, and then, you know, that effect is about 40% for some of the vaccines, which is worse than a coin toss at protecting you, which is like, you know, that is a measure more protection than you had. That is great, but it is not go cavalier and be, you know, thoughtless about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then second vaccine, you need about 2 weeks to really ramp up to that 95%.
Yeah, that is the concern.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who are like, I've had my first jab, back out into society, and it's like,
down the
nah,
pub.
you've still got a little ways to go, friends.
Yeah, it's been deeply concerning seeing people, you know, the pubs filling up, and like my Facebook feed full of people. It's like, yeah, we were having parties again. We're in people's back gardens. Like, you're not part of a social bubble there, friends. You seem to just be partying like none of this ever happened.
I mean, look, if you're gonna do that, at least, you know, go above and beyond, you know, the fact that you've had your first vaccine. Wear masks, still keep sensible distances where you can, you know, perhaps even do rapid tests, you know, but be aware that they are not 100% accurate, but, you know, use them as a barometer to be like, there is a good chance that I am safe, you know.
Yeah.
Like, don't take the fact you've had one of your jabs to mean everything is normal again, you know. Have other precautions in mind and stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, especially when we've just had that huge fucking march up in London, the London
God.
protest, a couple of weeks ago now, a week
Yeah.
ago. And, it was deeply concerning, and I can see there'll be a massive infections as a result of all of that nonsense.
Yeah, you saw the bloody fucking people that had the comparing themselves to Jewish people in the Holocaust.
Yes, that
comparisons.
was one of the most problematic things at that particular event. I mean, unfortunately, I had to go out to a doctor's appointment that day, and consequently, I was very concerned that I was going to have to, you know, try and get back home before London started emptying out. Although, from the sounds of it, I don't think they left until bloody late at night. So,
well, I'm glad to hear you're getting your first jab, and
well,
you know, if that at least starts the clock going for you being safe, I'm a little ways off yet. But
well, obviously, you know, I'm not going to put you at risk, mate. But
exactly.
Certainly, very much looking forward to that us being that bit closer to actually getting that hug.
That hug, it's been too long. I am ready for that physical hug. I could really do with it.
Yeah, same, mate. Same.
Right. Virtual hug.
Virtual hug, mate. Yeah. Oh, yeah, feeling a bit sleepy myself, mate. I might head for a nap.
Yeah, same.
Sleep well.
Sleep.
Oh, nice. So, Laura,
Me?
where can we find you on the internet?
Laura K Buzz pretty much everywhere. Laura K Buzz on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, that's the one that pays the bills. Every Friday I upload episodes of Accessibility, which is a series of videos all about accessibility and representation in the games industry. This week is all about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I definitely know what that game's called and
100%.
didn't have to ask Jane to robot voice over my lines. I stream on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Pacific. Mondays are typically indie game streams. Fridays are Fixation Friday, where I'm currently doing a lot of Train Simulator streams. I also have books, Uncomfortable Labels. That's out now. It's about being autistic and trans. Things I Learned from Mario's Butt. That's about Mario's butt. It's got pictures in it and video game characters and stuff. Gender Euphoria is all about positive gender-affirming stories from non-cis people. It's a good time, and backers will be getting that book real soon. It'll be on sale officially on June 10th, 2021. I got copies in my office. It's very pretty.
I can see them. They're beautiful.
It's a beautiful book. And then there's podcasts. Pixel Squirts, about video game character pornography. There's also Podquisition, where we tell you whether your favourite video games are great or perfect. And Dice Funk, which is a Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Every season's its own story, so you can just jump into whichever one. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now season 8. I'm also on another podcast with you that isn't this one.
That'll be Polyarmory. It's a D&D 5th edition real play podcast with questionable morals.
Oh.
We just had a new episode of that up last week. Where you were still in Felixstowe and you went to investigate a tower while your voices dropped half an octave. I'm glad I literally mentioned half an octave in the show, because when I came to doing the sound editing for that episode, I was like, well, I know exactly that'll be 6 semitones. There we go, that's sorted. Thanks, Audacity, for having that as a setting. Yeah, so that I had lots of fun with that. I make music under the name Bedroom Programmer. There's a new track up there. It's called Noodle Sandwich, because I was eating a noodle sandwich when I finally remembered to save after hours and hours and hours of work.
Oh, it's a beautiful bit of lo-fi, that track. It's so good.
You like it?
Yeah.
I prefer it on headphones. I listened to it just through my phone and was like, this sounds crap.
Oh, I listened to it through
It's
headphones
good on speakers.
earlier.
It's good on headphones. But I don't know why it didn't come out well on my phone.
I mean, usually phone speakers lack a lot of depth of sound.
Yeah, there is a decent
Everything
amount of
comes through
low
very
input, I guess.
flat.
Yeah, but I've got flat-tuned headphones. They shouldn't be very special. We got a Facebook group. I've got a Redbubble where you can buy T-shirts like this one that Laura's wearing. Except you can't see it because this is a podcast.
Wealth Inequality Solutions. It's got a guillotine on it.
It does.
It's a good shirt.
I'm glad you enjoy it. StoneMonkeyRadio.blog, where I write things. You can look at... what did I review recently? I reviewed something. There was a game.
Steampunk Rally Fusion?
Steampunk Rally Fusion. I finally put my thing up for that. I've been trying to write that for a while. Actually, I've had it written for a while, but I couldn't make myself finish it. So I made myself finish it, and now I will hopefully be able to get back into regularly reviewing things rather than delaying it forever. YouTube.com, where you can watch all of my VODs from my Twitch streams, which are on at around 19:30 on Thursday nights UK time. I've got a Twitter, I Say Words, and a Patreon. That's the one that pays my bills. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a 76-hour work week. And any extra, just overtime I just happen to put in. There is no end. There is no end. Stone Monkey Radio on Patreon. That's where you can help me out. Or for $10 a month, you can get early access to Queer and Pleasant Strangers and Polyarmory as soon as I've finished editing them. Laura?
Yeah.
Sing us out, please, darling.
Until next time, be a stranger.